Hello all, my name is Manas Adhikari. I am 9 years old. So today we're going to find the derivative of y equals to s radical 1 minus s squared plus cosine inverse s. So first of all, on both sides we differentiate with respect to s. Now we have dy ds is equal to d ds, and then parentheses we have s radical 1 minus s squared, and then plus cosine inverse s. And this closed, so now this is equal to, we know the derivative sum is the sum of the derivative. So we have d ds of s radical 1 minus s squared, and then putting this closed, plus d ds, and this is cosine inverse s. Pen is closed, so now this is equal to, for dds of s radical 1 minus s squared, use the product rule. Now the product rule is d ds of u times v, parenthesis closed, is equal to u times d v ds plus v times d u ds. So now parenthesis, we're going to use s, so s times d ds, and then parenthesis, we know that v is radical 1 minus s squared, and then plus, v again is radical 1 minus s squared, and then times d ds of s, parenthesis closed, and parenthesis closed, and then plus, parenthesis, we know dds of cosine inverse s is negative 1 whole over, I'm going to erase this, negative 1 whole over the radical 1 minus s squared. So now this is equal to, parenthesis, s times, I'm going to do some side work for dds of radical 1 minus s squared. So now we know z is equal to radical 1 minus s squared, and then we know u is equal to 1 minus s squared. So that means, comma, z is equal to radical u. So now we're going to use the chain rule. We know the chain rule is d z ds is equal to d z, I'm going to erase this, d z du times d u ds. So now this would be equal to, we have d u, and we have parenthesis, and know that z is radical u, and it's closed, times d ds, and then we have parenthesis, we're going to use 1 minus s squared, parenthesis closed. So now this is equal to, we have d du of radical u. We know radical u is u to the power half, and we had to use the power rule, so we have half u to the power negative half, and then times, we have parenthesis, we have dds of 1, we know the derivative of constant is always 0, so we can leave that. We have dds of negative s squared, which is negative 2s, and parenthesis closed. So now this would be equal to, we have negative s, and then we know u is 1 minus s squared, parenthesis closed, to the negative half. So now this would be equal to, we have negative s over radical 1 minus s squared. And then, so now I'm going to put it here, parenthesis, negative s over radical 1 minus s squared, and then putting this closed, and then plus, we have radical 1 minus s squared, and then we know dds of s is 1, so we can leave that, and then putting this closed, and this is minus 1 over radical 1 minus s squared. So now I'm going to erase this. Yeah. this. So now this is equal to, we have negative s squared, and then over the radical of 1 minus s squared, and that plus you have radical 1 minus s squared, and then minus 1 over radical 1 minus s squared. So now this would be equal to, you have negative s squared over radical 1 minus s squared, and then minus 1 over radical 1 minus s squared, and that plus radical 1 minus s squared. So now it's the same as over 1. So now we multiply both the numerator and denominator by radical 1 minus s squared. So radical 1 minus s squared, and then as well as this in parentheses times radical 1 minus s squared, and parentheses closed. So now this would be equal to negative s squared minus 1, and then plus 1 minus s squared. This whole over radical 1 minus s squared. So now this would be equal to negative 2s squared. We can cross negative 1 and positive 1, and this whole over radical 1 minus s squared. So now this is the final answer. Thank you guys for watching my video today.